Hey everyone, Steven here, and welcome to my little library of horrors. Well, I can't believe it's September already. It's pretty much summer's winding down now. It's starting to get a little chilly around here, especially in the mornings. It's definitely kind of hoodie season, so my favorite time of the year. Kids are back in school. Yay! So I have peace and quiet to finally record, so that's always really exciting. But I hope everyone had a really wonderful summer. I had a good time myself. My kids and my wife and we all spent a lot of time together, went on some trips, and, typical stuff during the summer. But one thing that we did differently, my wife and I, is we actually got to go away for a weekend last weekend, the end of August. So, it's been, I think it's genuinely been almost 4 years since, we have legitimately been able to go out, just us without the kids. So it was awesome. It was a really nice time. We went glamping, so that was really fun. There was a place not too far from us. We went on this really nice, scenic, rail ride where it's like almost like those Cumberland bikes on a railroad track that you get to ride around. It was beautiful. It was a gorgeous day. We got to see so much. But yeah, we overall just had a really good time. We got to reconnect and, focus on just being us again instead of just mom and dad all the time. It was funny. My wife was even like, you know what? This is a new life for us. We're both single. We just moved from Arizona. Yeah, that's like, we just had fun with it. It was a really fun time. But yeah, we also went to go see Weapons, which was friggin' awesome. If you haven't seen Weapons yet, easily one of the best horror movies I have seen in a long, long time. But definitely go check that out. But the main thing we really did was kind of just go thrift shopping, our favorite thing to do. And funny enough, right before we left for our trip, the VFW down the street from my house had their annual book sale. And I was like, oh, yes. And I was shocked because last year he had said that was his last book sale. He was going to end up donating any books he didn't sell. So I was sad. I figured, I grabbed what I could, and that was going to be the end of it. But I happened to see the sign as we were driving, and I said, oh, honey, we got to stop. So she was awesome. She's like, all right, yeah, we've got some extra time before we need to be where we need to be. So we stopped in, and I got a pretty good haul. And plus got some other stuff while we were out thrifting and all that. So, but that's enough rambling about all that stuff. I'll get to what you guys came here for, and that's the haul. So, I'm not really gonna separate what I got from a thrift store, what I got from the book sale, all of that, because it's all kind of mixed in. So I just kind of want to get into the books themselves. But here we go. So the first book right here is I actually found at the Goodwill store, and that is The Silver Eyes. Well, Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes by Scott Cawthon and Kira Breed Risley. Love the cover. Now, Scott Cawthon is the creator of the Five Nights at Freddy's video game series. I was a huge fan of it until it just became so overly saturated and complicated and has definitely steeped more into the sci-fi genre, which I don't hate sci-fi, but, it was originally a horror game that was incredibly terrifying, intense, and the lore behind the original quadrilogy, if you want to say, was just incredible. But The Silver Eyes is a really wonderful book. I think it takes place before the first game, but after the origins of the lore, I guess. But I know Kira is the one that pretty much wrote the book, while Scott kind of overlooked it to kind of make sure characters and lore and everything lined up with everything. But there's some really powerful lines in here that I love. I've written down in my quote notebook that I will share one day, but not right now. But yeah, if you're interested, I would definitely check out The Silver Eyes. You don't have to be super steeped into the lore of the FNAF series to get it, but if you are a fan, definitely check out The Silver Eyes. I really enjoyed it. Next up, also from that same Goodwill, I'm going to go ahead and peel this sticker off first because I hate the look of these ugly stickers on the cover, especially these long, huge ones with the barcodes on them. Just, I don't understand why put the price tag on the cover of a book. That just completely baffles me. But anyway, I picked up The Turn of the Screw and Other Short Fiction by Henry James. Really nice cover, too, to be honest. I know it's kind of a little more modern, but I really like the scene itself. But I've been kind of on a classic kick this year, so maybe I'll kind of squeeze this one in before the end of the year. Next up, I picked up The Shining by Stephen King. This isn't the metallic version of this cover, but it's I'm pretty sure it's still like a first print, just not a first edition. I know it's not a first edition, but yeah, doesn't hurt to grab it when I see it. Next up, we have Eyes by Felice Picano. Kind of funny to see, this sort of script flip here with a man being peeped on in the window while a woman's looking at him through the binoculars. I personally really love that. I think that's awesome. But I love the cover itself as well. Like, it's really well detailed. And it even covers around to the spine here and actually all the way to the back. So it is kind of like a one of those books that has the whole wraparound cover here. I'll try to be gentle here. Excuse the ugly sticker on the back there. But yeah, wonderful cover. And I've never heard of the author nor the book, so I'm not 100% sure if this falls more in thriller, more in horror, just because it kind of has terror in, like it says, a novel of love and terror there. So, me personally, if the word terror is in there, I tend to put it more towards horror. With, like, if it's more chilling, if the word is chilling, I tend to put it towards more of a thriller, whereas terrifying I would put more as horror. But that's just kind of my own personal opinion. Let's see. Next up, I got In Dreams Awake by Leslie A. Fiedler. Again, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, so please feel free to correct me if you know the correct pronunciation. But this is actually a sci-fi collection, and it's, just listen to the cast: H.G. Wells, Edgar Allan Poe, Arthur C. Clarke, Ray Bradbury, Anthony Burgess, J.G. Ballard. That's an incredibly stacked cast right there. Like, that is just wow. And I don't know, I think it's actually kind of awesome to see Poe in sci-fi. Wow, look, there's Mark Twain, H.P. Lovecraft. Who else is in here? Yeah, it's a pretty good Isaac Asimov. There we go. Yeah, a really nice cast, but I am kind of surprised to see Poe in here as far as sci-fi. I haven't read everything he's ever written, but pretty much anything I have read by him is pretty much horror. I guess maybe The Gold Bug you could kind of toss into sci-fi, I guess, but I don't know. Why don't you let me know? What are some of Edgar Allan Poe's sci-fi works? I would love to check them out. Next up, I got, I believe this was from Sabres, is 13 Stories to Chill and Thrill, Dare to be Scared, by Robert D. Sansucci. Illustrated by David Ouimet. But, love the cover. Like, this is probably one of my favorite art styles. Like, I love black and white, and I just kind of like the I don't know the word I'm looking to describe it, but, like, even the back cover is just very eerie. Like, I don't know. I just, it's just an art style, a style I love. It's sort of reminiscent of Edward Gorey, mixed in with a little of Maurice Sendak. So definitely like that. Let's see. Next up, I picked up The Trial by Franz Kafka. Now, I've never read anything by Kafka, but I, of course, have heard nothing but praise for his work. He's clear, one of the greatest authors of all time. I just never knew what he wrote about. I still honestly don't really know what subject matter he tends to dive into, but I do know a little bit about, his history, about, his father pretty much shunning his work and him being so, I guess, hard on himself that he burned unpublished books. And it's like, I guess I can relate with that, like I want to write really badly, but I'm so hard on myself with my own work that I don't know. I feel like it's not worth people's time. You know what I mean? So, but who knows? Maybe Kafka will inspire me to kind of just push past that barrier. I hope so. Let's see. Next up, I picked up, let's see, the cover got a little bent here. There we go. Possessed, The True Story of an Exorcism by Thomas B. Allen. Never heard of this one, but with The Exorcist being one of only 3 books that have actually terrified me, possessions have become one of my favorite kind of stories. So maybe I'll check that one out one day. Let's see. Next up, we have this one I also got from the thrift store. Sorry, gotta peel this sticker off here. It's funny, I've peeled off so many stickers on books over the years that I've kind of picked up this technique. Here, I'll show you guys, just in case you're ever wondering how to get stickers off your covers without completely tearing them. If you sort of don't peel it from here, because as you're doing this, that's when it's going to start, the adhesive is going to start to pull up on the cover. If you pull it, put your thumb kind of right where the bend is and slowly, constantly unstick, pull, unstick, pull. If you do it like that, it's it takes a little longer, but as you can see, unless I make a complete ass out of myself, which wouldn't be the first time. Let's see. There we are. Totally fine. But anyway, since you see it, Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. I've never read Dune, but that's mainly because I'm not huge into series. Series kind of scare me, to be honest. I don't want to invest so much time into reading massive books only for the ending to just suck. It's a big reason why I haven't read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Excuse me. Especially with King, his endings are a wicked coin toss. It's either going to be great or it's going to be terrible. So, yeah, I haven't read any of Dune. I would love to get into it, but those of you who have read Dune, let me know what you think. Okay. Next we have... Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't peel this sticker off right now. I'm not going to waste any more time doing it. But anyway, I got The Scary Stories Treasury. It's all 3 books in one, which is friggin' awesome if you ask me. I didn't even know this existed, so, yeah. I unfortunately missed this as a kid. I know a lot of people praise it as one of, the scariest books they ever read as a kid, and, was a stepping stone into horror for them. So, I unfortunately missed it, but I definitely will read this one day, just to see what I missed. Oh, I've already seen a story about a Wendigo, so there you go. an incredibly rare topic in horror. So that instantly sold it for me. So I will be checking that out eventually. Next, we have Tales of Terror and Detection by Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, I pretty much, anytime I see a Poe book, I grab it. You know, he's my favorite author ever. But yeah. Okay. Next we have more ugly stickers. Sorry, this one is actually going to be able to come up, so I will peel this off just super quickly. Man, I probably should have done this before I was recording, but I didn't realize how many actually had that ugly sticker on them. Get Off the Unicorn by Anne McCaffrey. Awesome cover. I was super into dragons as a kid. Like, I collected, my very first collection was dragon statues. So, like, anytime I had a birthday or anything like that, and when people would ask me, I want a dragon statue, I want a dragon statue. So, I love Anne McCaffrey's work. The first book I ever read by her was Dragon Riders of Pern, Dragon's Blood. I think I read that when I was like 13. And I remember listening to System of a Down's Toxicity album on repeat the entire time I read that book. So, yeah. Let's see. Next up, we have The Penal Colony by Franz Kafka. Kafka. Pretty sure it's Kafka. This seems to be it's a collection of his works, it looks like. Oh, cool. So it comes with The Metamorphosis. And I've heard a lot of great things about that, so maybe I'll get to Kafka a lot faster than I thought I was, because I really wanted to read Metamorphosis, because like I said, I've heard a lot of wonderful things about that book. A lot of people praise it as his best work, so definitely going to have to check that out. I'm pretty excited. I didn't even realize that was a short collection. I just saw Kafka, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to sip my coffee here. Oh, there we go. Alrighty, next up is Camp Fear by Carol Ellis. Very 90s, typical 90s kids horror cover. Not saying it's bad, I love it. Not saying at all that that's a bad thing. But, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I had grabbed this originally, and then I think the next store we went to, I found that treasury. So I was like, oh, look at that. But, hey, I'm not going to complain about having just a copy of the original. Alrighty. And I think everything else in here is going to pretty much be from the book sale. No, it's not. Excuse me. I shouldn't have said that. Most of it will be. But again, I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, next up, I picked up, let's see, what is this even? It is Fairy Tales by Hans Andersens. And it is an antique book. So nothing really on the cover, of course. No dust jacket. But let's see. This was printed in... It doesn't even have a print date. I want to say it was like 1920, around there. But I always love collecting classic fairy tale books because, they have pretty much inspired almost all of our media today. A lot of our classic tales told today are inspired by fairy tales. Funny enough, yesterday while I was waiting in the pickup line for school, my youngest daughter uses my phone, and I forgot my book at home, so I realized that I had The Witches by Roald Dahl sitting in the car. And it's a kid's book, obviously, but I was like, I've got nothing to read right now, so why don't I check it out? And basically what it's about is how to identify a witch. And as I'm reading it, and it's giving the little hints, I was like, holy crap, that's the movie Weapons. I'm like, it's like, he's putting, oh, witches do this, witches do this, witches do this. And then I'm looking at the antagonist from the movie, and I was like, wow. Like, spot on. Like, I'll give you one hint. Witches are always bald. She's bald in the movie. I'm just like, And it's just so cool. Like, you know what I mean? Just this random happenstance of coincidence that I pick up a book and I instantly see the inspirations from a recent piece of media that I've watched from something that's, God, what? Almost 40 years, 50 years old at this point. So it's like, it was just really cool. It was just really awesome to see. Let's see. Next up, I picked up The Haunted Bookshop by Christopher Morley. Again, no dust jacket on this one. But, I'm not even sure if this is antique. Let me see when this was printed. Ooh, and it's illustrated. Cool, didn't know that. So it looks to have been at least 1955. Oh, it's a nice little introduction to it already. It says, be pleased to the booksellers, be pleased to know, most worthy, that this little book is dedicated to you in affection and respect. And I think that's pretty awesome, Booksellers are just can be really fascinating people. I have a video I'll leave down below where it's my interaction with a rare bookseller at his store. And he told me a wonderful, a quote I'll never ever forget. I will remember it the rest of my life. He told me, every book has two stories, the one within it and the one about it. And that has stuck with me ever since. And, but yeah, like I said, I'll leave that video in the description below if you want to check that one out, and learn a little bit more about my interaction with him. But, this sounds like a lot of fun. A haunted bookstore that's, written in appreciation of booksellers. So that's pretty awesome. Next up is False Dawn by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough. Which, unfortunately, rest in peace to the wonderful Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough. She unfortunately passed the other day. I want to say this will be uploaded on Friday, so I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday she passed. But I do plan on making a special video about her and her works in horror in dedication to her passing. So I think I have like the book club edition of this. Like I randomly found it at a thrift store one day. I had never heard of Chelsea before, and even the cover is just like, I don't know. It's just a cover that makes you pick it up and like, what the heck is this about? But as I started to do more research and learn more and more, I found who Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough actually was, and I was like, oh, wow. So this is actually much better condition than the book I already have, so I'm really excited to add a nicer copy of this to my collection. Next up, there's a book my wife actually found, and I have never, ever personally seen this. Not in this edition. And that is The Stand by Stephen King. Now, obviously, I have multiple editions of this, but I've never seen, what would you call this, a trade paperback? I guess? Like, I have literally never seen, like, a big soft cover of The Stand. I have a first print, first edition hardcover. I have multiple paperbacks. Excuse me. I have the audio cassettes. I have never, ever seen this one before. And even finding, like, previous listings on eBay was difficult to find. I think I found one where it sold for, like, I think like $50 or something. So, I don't know. I'm not a Stephen King collector. So if any of you are massive Stephen King collectors or fans, I would love to know a little more about this. If it's like something uncommon, rare, or anything like that, please fill me in. I'm dying to know. Let's see. Next up is The Terror of Art by Martin Greenberg. And it looks to sort of be almost like a biopic on Kafka. So yeah, seems pretty interesting. Alrighty, next we have Burmese Days by George Orwell. Now, obviously, we all know 1984 by George Orwell. And I think he wrote Animal Farm. I'm going to sound like such an idiot if he didn't write that. I'm like 99% sure he wrote Animal Farm. Because the other person I'm thinking of is... No. Yeah, he wrote Animal Farm. So that's pretty much the only two books that I know of by him is 1984 and Animal Farm. So I instantly grabbed this because I was like, oh, huh. Never heard of that before. And, you know, I love his works. I think the way his mind works is so fascinating. And just the way, like, Animal Farm is probably one of my favorite books ever. So I'm pretty excited to check this out. Alrighty. Next up is, I definitely found this at the book sale. And it is called The Burning Ground by Medina Spray Nolan. I really hope I'm saying that right. Just a sec here. Just want to make sure. Medina Spray Nolan. Yes, okay. Never heard of this, never heard of the author, and I was pretty convinced I had pretty much picked their horror clean, but this was hiding within the fantasy and sci-fi, so always check your fantasy and sci-fi sections. But this is another nice wraparound cover. Very reminiscent of Audrey Rose. Like, as soon as I saw it, if I had not seen the author's name, I would have been convinced this was a book by Frank DiFolita. But yeah, I was really excited to have seen that, and I was like, oh, cool. Said, I guess I missed one or two horrors, and one I've never heard of, so that never hurts. This next book I found at the Goodwill, and I was shocked to have seen it, because Goodwill's usually pretty miss for me. Like, it's rare that I'll find anything that I either don't have or just want in general. But it's Blue World by Robert McCammon. So, especially Blue World by McCammon. Like, I have found quite a few McCammons out in the wild, but Blue World and Bethany's Sin is usually like two of the rarest ones as far as finding out in the wild. Not that they're super hard to find anywhere else, but I never ever see Blue World anywhere. And it looks almost unread. Like, it's a very, very good condition copy. Like, just check out the spine. It barely has any creasing on it. But this is a fantastic short story collection if you haven't read it by McCammon. There's just so many good stories in here, especially Blue World. Blue World's a wonderful story. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you've never read any of McCammon, this is a great way to get a taste of his work and, you know, get thrown into the world of this master. Let's see. Next up, I grabbed Tarzan and the Jewels of Opar and Tarzan the Invisible. Some very nice antique copies here by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Yeah, I've said it before, but Tarzan sort of holds a special place for me because my dad loved Tarzan, so he used to have a whole bunch of Tarzan books in his nightstand next to his bed. And I remember one day going through it, and when I got to the back cover, it was all in Portuguese, so I couldn't read any of it. I just kind of like to look at the pictures and stuff like that. But on the back cover was an ad for Dracula. And man, it scared the hell out of 8-year-old me. Like, it terrified me to look at that picture. And it was, if I can still picture it now, it's Dracula as this old man. He's got white hair. There's like 3 skulls. He's got blood dripping from the corners of his mouth. There's a lightning bolt. I remember it vividly because it absolutely it terrified me, but it enraptured me as well. Like, I was so engrossed at looking at that book. And I still credit it as one of my first brushes with horror that made me fall in love with it. So anytime I see anything Tarzan, I grab it just because it reminds me of my dad and stuff, you know. Thankfully, he's still alive and all that, so. But next up is The Hobbit by Tolkien. I really enjoyed The Hobbit. I hated the climax, the fight with Smaug. I won't spoil it, but my God, what a disappointment that was. Next up, we have The Beast by Robert Stallman. Pretty neat cover. And I picked it up because I saw that it's actually part of the trilogy from The Orphan, which I have. I picked that up because I loved the cover. I don't know if it's right next to me or not. Let me see. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Like that. Nah, it's probably all the way up there, so I can't get it. But, yeah, so I was like, oh, cool, let me grab this one. Speaking of which, I also grabbed The Captive by Robert Stallman. So this is actually the second book in the series. The Beast is the third, so it goes Orphan, The Captive, The Beast. But I just love the artwork. I think it's so cool. Yeah. Alrighty, next we have Nightmare by Piers Anthony. I just thought it was a cool cover. I don't know if I'll ever read it, but... Alrighty, next up we have Harvest Home by Thomas Tryon. I think this might actually even be my next read. You know, with fall coming around, I'm super in the mood for some small town horror. Like, fall always makes me want to read small town horror, so I'm definitely going to check this out. Next we have The Violent World of Michael Shane by Brett Halliday. So I've been recently picking up these, are these pulp? I want to say they're pulp novels, just because they're becoming, you know, harder and harder to find, and, the Book Graveyard, Nick, I'll leave a link to his channel down below. He recently did an interview with two authors with that did men's adventure magazines and stuff like that, and it was a wonderful interview that really dove into the history of men's adventure and pulp and stuff like that, and it was incredibly informative, really fascinating, and just really an overall good time. So definitely go check that video out. But yeah, after seeing that, it made me kind of want to start picking them up whenever I saw them, And I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of a sucker for preservation, you know what I mean? Like, with everything being such an, with everything being increasingly digital, I'm just someone that likes physical media, you know what I mean? Like, these books won't one day just get deleted. Nobody's going to come into my house and start pulling books off the shelves because $2 million companies can't agree who gets the extra dollar in a deal and stuff like that. So that's just my little collector heart at work. Let's see. Next up, I picked up The Arab Plague by Nick Carter. And again, this sort of falls into the me wanting to pick up more pulp and I guess more offensive works, I guess, like maybe not so PC in today's climate. I think things like this is important to our history and just being able to kind of see where we've come from over the years as a society. There was a time where stuff like this was okay. So, I don't know. I just think it's interesting history. Let's see. Next, I picked up Ordeal by Neville Shute, who famously wrote On the Beach, which I still haven't read. I do need to get into that. I do plan on reading that, but I've never seen anything else he's written. So as soon as I saw the name, I was like, okay, definitely gonna grab that. Let's see. Next up, we have. Excuse me, coffee's making me burp here. Excuse me. Okay, next up we have Entangled by Paul Jason and Jeffrey Sager. No mention of Will Smith here. But yeah, really nice cover, honestly. I know some people have sort of this, I don't want to say a bias against medical horror, but I know some people tend to see medical horror as sort of like, I don't know, a cheap thrill, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess it depends on the subject matter of it. Like, for me personally, I think a horror book about a dentist would be terrifying to me because I have dental phobia. There was a time I had an episode of anesthetic awareness. So, that's a story for a different time though. But yeah, I like I said, I guess it really kind of depends on the subject matter. Let's see. Next we have The Turn of the Screw and Daisy Miller by Henry James. Nice little classic copy here. I wonder when this was printed. Let's see. 1966. Next up is... Let's see. Earth Descended by Fred Saberhagen. Now, if you've seen any of my haul videos, you will certainly be very familiar with the name Fred Saberhagen, because he has pretty much expanded the Dracula universe outside of, the typical Gothic castle and stuff like that. he has so many like Dracula novels. It's crazy. Well, I guess I shouldn't say Dracula novels, but like vampire novels that are sort of extensions of the Dracula universe. But so yeah, anytime I see any of his sci-fi stuff, I just grab it because maybe it's good. Next up, we have Du Shao by Jacqueline Leitenberg. Never heard of it, nor the author, but the cover was cool. Next is The Twisted Shadow by Edith Dorian. Then we have The Berserker Wars by Fred Saberhagen. I swear, anytime I find one of his books, I end up finding at least 2, 3, sometimes 5 of his books. So, I mean, hey, good for him, man. Next up, we have a big old ugly sticker on the cover again. But I'm not going to waste time with that. We have Lovely in Her Bones by Sharon McCrum. And, oh yeah. So I picked this up because of the cover, but what really sold me was kind of the blurb on the front. It says, "Who but Sharon McCrum can make a skull with a bullet hole funny? Those who like sardonic wit, slightly bent characters, and good fun will love Lovely in Her Bones." And that's everything I love. I love sardonic wit. I absolutely adore slightly bent characters and good fun. So yeah, that was an easy grab for me. Let's see. Next up is A for Andromeda by Fred Hoyle and John Elliott. Really nice cover. And like I said, I've been kind of just grabbing sort of these older copies of sci-fi things and stuff like that. So yeah, this is 1964 and stuff like that. So I just grab them, like I said, simply for preservation. Let's see. Next up we have Tonight They'll Kill a Catholic by R. Douglas Weed. Again, it seems interesting. It seems like a really good story overall. Again, sort of a story of our past and sort of how far we've come. So, let's see. This one is A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich by Alice Childress. I grabbed this because honestly, the cover, the title just, made me laugh and stuff like that. But the storyline seems to be pretty interesting. It revolves around pretty much how the drug scene pretty much started to blow up in, early African American neighborhoods. And, I know a lot of books about during that time period where, harder drugs were starting to hit the scene and stuff like that tend to be kind of on the rare side. But again, I just think it's an interesting piece of history. So, and I'm pretty sure they made a movie out of this. Oh yeah, they did. So now a major motion picture. So, let's see. Okay, this sticker I can get off. But I'm not going to because it's going to, unfortunately, completely ruin the cover if I do. Because, of course... Well, I managed to save a little bit of it, but what can you do? It is The Light at the End by John Skip and Craig Spector. Yeah, see, that was from the sticker. But that was pretty much already, the damage was already done. There was no way I was saving that. And it's funny because I literally just found a copy of this a couple months ago after years and years of wanting the book and not finding it. I find 2 copies within months of each other, so funny how that works. It's kind of similar to how I will have found a book I've never heard of the author or anything like that, and then a day or 2 later, somebody on the Retro Horror Paperback group will post it, and I'll be like, wow. But just kind of funny how that works out. Next up is Wanted by Caroline B. Cooney. Definitely young adult, but yeah, looks like a pretty interesting cover. Let's see. Next we have Murder on the 31st Floor, and I am legitimately not even going to attempt this name. If you can pronounce it, please let me know in the comments, because this is just like, there's no way, but really awesome cover though. I really like that. It reminds me of course I'm not going to remember the name of the book now. Gosh, that's going to bother me. I wish I could remember the name, but really cool cover. Next up is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Now, I've only had the trade paperback edition, so this is a nice classic edition from 1972. And I loved this book. It's been quite a while since I've read it, but I think I also loved the movie. I think the movie was fantastic. However, like I understand why Kubrick cut the ending of the book out of the movie, because then the movie starts to it keeps it more in the horror aspect, where the ending of this doesn't necessarily make it not horror, but I really think adds another layer to the story that's incredibly important to the overall message. I won't spoil it if you haven't read it, but I had been a fan of the movie for years, and then I had finally read the book, and when I saw the ending that was left out, I was like, why would he leave that ending out? That's brilliant. That's an excellent ending. But I do understand. So if you've seen the movie and you haven't read the book, definitely check out the book. The ending is wonderful. Different than the movie, but I think is better than the ending of the movie. Let's see. Next up is Night Feeder by Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens. Definitely getting some I Am Legend vibes from this for sure. Even the vampire's just a little goofy looking. But, I mean, come on. How can you not pick that up? Let's see. I grabbed another copy of Turn of the Screw. Next we have The Red Widow Murders by Carter Dickinson. Again, a nice little one of those smaller pocket-sized books. Yeah, it looks like this was printed in 1940. Wow. Yep, but see, there's Pocketbook's classic little kangaroo there. Let's see. Next up is The Michigan Murders by Edward Keyes. So, I am a huge true crime buff. I love, love, love true crime. I studied serial killers extensively in high school. So I'm always fascinated with true crime books, so this was an easy get for me. Also an easy get, Helter Skelter. I have 2 different paperback editions, so it was really cool seeing the hardcover edition of it. Still haven't read it. I really probably should. But, yeah. Oh, there's even illustrations in it. Cool. Got a cast of characters. Cool. Next, Great Tales of Mystery and Suspense. You know, it's just... I love collections like these where you get a whole slew of authors. You know, because you just kind of get... It's a good way to get a feel for authors you've never heard of. And just see what else is out there other than the main names. So yeah, I was pretty excited to see that. Next up, The Hobbit, again. But this is like a pretty cool, like, pocket hardcover. Oh, wow. Oh, check that out. I didn't even notice that. Still got the library card in it. How cool. Wow. This was definitely, it looks... Wow, May 30th, 1973. Wow. How cool is that? Oh, man, that is so awesome. See, and that's just one thing I really love about used books is, like... Look at it. Yeah, this is from the high school library right around where I live. But yeah, like I was saying, that's what I really love about used books is just finding the history behind them themselves, where they've been, whose hands they've been in. You know, I have books from, you know, across the country that have somehow ended up over here, so it's little surprises like that are just really amazing. Next up is Majestic by Whitley Strieber. Which, funny enough, I just started his book Communion, and it's interesting so far. I will certainly say that. You know, it's interesting to kind of hear his conviction, but also kind of be like, this dude definitely has a screw loose somewhere. But, yeah. And last, but absolutely not least, A Treasury of American Horror Stories. Got the classic American Gothic here. But, yeah, this is 51 spine-chilling tales from every state in the Union plus Washington, D.C. And, yeah, I've seen this multiple times. I've always wanted a copy. And I finally have one, so it's just really, really exciting to finally have this in here. But we got Stephen King, Robert Bloch, Lovecraft, Richard Matheson, John D. MacDonald, Mark Twain, Isaac Asimov. Like, the list is just huge. So, very excited to add this gem to the collection. But yeah, that was my vacation haul, everyone. So, overall, a really nice mixed bag of things. Lots of horror, some sci-fi, and some other stuff mixed in between. But yeah, now they all have their own little home right amongst the others. But that's going to do it for me today, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please leave a like on the video as it helps it get out into the algorithm, and it helps out the channel grow. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today, everyone. Thank you again, and until the next time, be nice to yourselves. Later.